Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I decided I wanted to do a video that I wanted to do for a while now and was really popular, I feel like late last year, but I've seen a couple of them come back up within the past couple of months. And so I wanted to do a tier ranking video of popular books that I have read because of YouTube, read because of booktube, bookstagram, book Twitter, all of the book things. And I just thought it would be fun because these videos are always so entertaining to me and I just love seeing how people rank their books. So I figured we would do that. I think I have like 30 books to go through, so I'm not going to be really in depth about them, but I do have some strong opinions about a good amount of them. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to shift this so you guys can see my computer, which is right here. I'm sitting on my bed. It's a very casual video today. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are on the screen for the tier ranking. So I figured I would tell you what my different system is going to be for the ranking of these books, because I'm not as creative as some of these people who come up with like the best names, but this is what I came up with. So the first one is Take All of My Money. That is like top tier, superior, love these books, would die for them. You can have all my money. The second ranking right below that is quality content. These are books that I loved and I really enjoyed and think about, but they're not in my very top tier. I wouldn't like want to be buried with them. And yeah, I loved them, enjoyed them, but they're not reaching that like perfect level for me. The third tier is kind of mid-tier, which is I could give or take it. This is one that I could have enjoyed it, but I either have kind of changed my opinion about it, or I just don't think that it's one of my favorites that I'll think about for a long time, or one that I don't want to reread, or just kind of one that I just felt meh about. The one below that is Not a Fan. This is one that I probably read and changed my mind about, and really I'm just not about it, or a book that was like really popular and I just didn't get the hype. It just didn't do anything for me and I could just ignore that it happened a little bit. And the last one is one that says, How Do I Erase My Memory? There are some books where I just literally wish I did not read them because I did not like them at all. And I wouldn't say hate, but maybe hate, because some of these books are just a no for me, and I'm just kind of mad that I spent money on some of them, or that I wasted my time reading them because they were bad. Okay, so the first one we have here is Maggie Stiefvater's The Raven Boys. I love this series, and so I think, I don't know, I gave all of the books in the series 5 stars, I think, or at least almost all of them, and then the last one 4 stars. I think I'm going to, at least for right now, put it in quality content. This is one of my favorite series. I want to reread it. I love it so much. The world is so immersive and the characters are to die for. Okay, I think it's gonna go and Take All My Money because I honestly, I just love this series and I love these characters. I don't think I can put it in quality content. I'm gonna put it at the top because it was that good. The next is The Wrath of the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This book I enjoyed when I read it. It had really good descriptions of the food in the book. I was so hungry reading this book and I thought the concept was really interesting. It just isn't like one of my favorites that I think about all the time and want to reread, but I probably would reread it at some point. This is one of those I think I'll probably put it in I could give or take it, just because it's all right, not my favorite. I feel like this was popular a couple of years ago and really isn't as popular anymore. But I do like Renee Ahdieh's writing, so I do want to read more by her. Next we have one that would probably be controversial on booktube, and that is The Foxhole Court. Listen, I'm gonna put this one in Not a Fan. This one is one that I picked up because everyone was talking about it. There are huge stands for this. Like, people love this. This becomes like their favorite series. They adore it. I only read the first one, so I'm only rating the first one. But yeah, I just wasn't a fan. I didn't like the fake sport that they played. I do like sport-centered books, but honestly this one, just since it was made up, it just wasn't that cool to me. I wasn't that interested, and the characters, I just didn't really connect to them very much, but I could see why people like it, so I'm gonna put that in Not a Fan. Just not my favorite. Next we have Cinder from the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. This series was probably one of my favorites right when I started really getting into reading and when I started like my Goodreads. And I read all of the books back to back because I think that all of them, or almost all of them, were already out, and I was just so excited about them. I adored them. I loved the story, and I still do really love the characters. It's still a really fun series, and I think I would read it again. But it's just not the best. But also, I don't know. I feel like I still haven't grown out of it. I love fairy tale retellings, and I loved the like sci-fi aspect to it. So you know what? I'm gonna give it to quality content because this is a series that I still really care about. I think about the characters often, and I would definitely reread it in a time when I have a chance because I have way too many books to get through. Next we have my favorite book of all time. I don't even know how to describe it, but that's Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I'm obsessed with Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is my favorite book of all time. I have read it countless times, studied it in classes, written dissertations and essays on it. And I just absolutely adore it. I fell in love with it in my sophomore year of high school when I was assigned to read it, and I've read it multiple times since, and it gets better every time. I love it. Anyways, Jane Eyre, she's going to take all my money. She's going at the top. She's one of my favorites, and I just adore her. Next we have one that has become, or has been, pretty controversial over the past, I feel like, couple of months, but it has obviously been problematic for years since it came out, and that is Eleanor and Park. When I read this as a tween, I really didn't understand the issues with this book, but there are quite a few, and this is becoming a movie soon, I'm pretty sure, and so people are bringing up the topic again of like why this is a problematic book. I'll leave down below some really important videos on why it is problematic, and I've completely since changed my mind about this. So we're gonna put this one in how do I erase my memory, because I don't want to read that, and I'm just not here for it. I kind of wish I didn't read it because I feel like it was just not good as like a younger girl for me growing up. I like didn't understand, and it makes me upset that I didn't understand because this was such a popular book and it was so hyped. So I picked it up and thought I loved it. But no, it was a problem and I'm not about it. So I'm erasing my memory. Did we read Eleanor and Park? I can't remember because we're erasing our memories here. Next we have another one which I feel like I have a difference of opinion. I've seen recently some people say that they felt the same way as me, but this is Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. I've read a couple of Morgan Matson books and I just really, I'm not a fan. Like I just don't love her writing. I feel like it's really juvenile, and her stories I feel like try to reach this area of emotion and like young adult experiences that honestly I never have fully related to. They felt a little bit too drastic or a little bit too contrived. So this one, everyone cries at the end apparently, but I didn't, and I was bored the entire book. So I'm just gonna say not a fan. I'm not gonna say I hated it because I recognized what the book was trying to do and that it could be like a nice book for some people who are going through grief. But yeah, just not a fan. Next we have one that I'm just, you know, I don't really want to get into because I don't know how to like logically validate what I think about this book, but I'm just gonna put it and take all my money. That is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I'm sorry, but I love that series. It's trash, I get it. It can be trash, but like I'm trash too, so like I get it. And I love it. And I have reread it multiple times and still enjoy it. Do I see the problems with it? Absolutely. But do I still enjoy it? Yes, because I'm trash. Next is one that I also feel like is a difference of opinion from a lot of people. This is some people's favorite series, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This book was boring to me. I didn't love it. It took me to like the last couple of chapters, or like maybe like the last 80% to really get into it, to like the characters. Maybe it gets better, I don't know. Let me know if I should pick it up and continue on with the series, but at this point in time, I'm just not a fan. Like I was just bored, I wasn't enjoying myself, and I I don't know, I wanted to love it because I love like fae, and I love that mixing between human and fae, and like how Jude had all these issues that she was trying to sort out, but I just wasn't really into it, and it just took me a long time to get through. So we're gonna put that in not a fan. Next is one that was really disappointing to me because I love The Little Mermaid. I've talked about this multiple times. I love mermaid stories, mermaid books, mermaid everything. I've got mermaid decor everywhere. So I picked up The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill. I think Lala read it and I saw the book from her and I decided to pick it up as well. And I know she doesn't really like mermaid stuff as much as a lot of other people, so I figured I would like it. But I didn't. This one was just kind of boring and just not my favorite. I wanted it to do a lot more and it didn't. So this one's also going in not a fan. I don't have like a super strong opinion about it, but since I was expecting to get a Little Mermaid retelling and have it be done well, or what I was expecting, it was kind of disappointing that it just didn't meet my expectations. So not a fan. Next we have a series that I actually really love and I need to continue with and finish up. I think it's finishing up soon. And that is the Every Heart a Doorway Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. I love this series. It is so immersive. It's short, but it's so like, there's so much depth within those pages. So this one's going on quality content. Not one of my favorites, but I do love it, and I have all of the books and want to reread them because they go by so quickly, but I feel so captivated by her writing and by her worlds. It's beautiful. I love it. Okay, next one is actually so funny because no one ever on booktube, I feel like, talks about Jenny Han's first series. And Jenny Han's first series was The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. And everyone talks about her To All the Boys I've Loved Before, which is totally understandable. That's a great series as well. But this is the one that got me started on YA, got me started on reading. I was obsessed with it. I read it every single summer, and it was like these characters felt like a part of me. Years later now, I realized there is a lot of issues within the book, and the characters are pretty dislikable. Like the main character's name is Belly, like Belly. Her name's Isabella, but they call her Belly. Anyways, nonetheless, I loved this growing up. I read it every single summer and adored it. But now, do I go with like it's a childhood fave that will always be nostalgic for me? Or do I go with, is it good content? Probably not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put it in I could give or take it. Because you know what? I still have a place in my heart for it. But I can't say that it's like quality content because it really isn't. It's just really feel good fun. And I loved it. And it also started my love for love triangles, which I know people do not like, but I loved love triangles, and this really like did it for me. I loved a good love triangle, especially a love triangle between brothers. I loved it. What can I say? Next we have Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. This book I read last year before, I don't remember, and I was just bored. I didn't like it. I thought the writing was bad, and I was just not a super big fan. I wanted to love it because it sounded really good to me. But yeah, it just kind of fell off. It wasn't as good as I expected it to be, and I'm just disappointed. So I'm just gonna put that in not a fan. Next we have An Ember in the Ashes, which is one that I read last summer, I'm pretty sure, and I haven't continued with the series, but I think the latest one just came out, which is super exciting. And I love this series. It's not one of my top favorites, but it's definitely quality content. I really love the characters, and the world is so interesting, and I do want to get back into it. I just haven't had the chance. But yeah. Great book, great writing. I remember seeing it like years ago and never picking it up, and then when the new editions of the covers came out, I decided to try it out, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. So I need to continue with the series, but it's definitely quality content for sure. Next we have the controversial one, Harry Potter. I grew up loving Harry Potter movies. I read the books for the first time, I think when I was in high school, and read them I think a couple of times since. I love the world, I do love the characters, but J.K. Rowling is transphobic, and we're not messing with that. So it's difficult to like put it at the very top, just knowing that I sometimes have a hard time separating the artist from the author. So yeah, we're gonna put the book don't know, quality content. But also, I'm not as obsessed with it as I used to be. I used to be really into Harry Potter, and now I'm kind of like... So you know what? We're gonna put it, I could give it or take it, because I've kind of fallen off from my love for it too as well over the years, so I don't feel that bad. I'm gonna put it, I could give or take it, because you know what? If you took away my books from Harry Potter, I really don't think I would have that hard of a time. I'd rather watch the movies anyways. Next we have one which I don't think I've ever seen anyone on booktube talk about, and that is The Love Interest by Cale Dietrich. This is a book I got from like one of my first orders of Book of the Month, and I was super excited about it. I think it's like a spy romance between two guys, but it's supposed to be that he's supposed to get with one of the girls. Okay, that didn't make any sense. Anyways, it was supposed to be like a gay romance, and it was not good. Like, it was really poorly done. The writing was so bad, and that was the beginning. Like, I had just started really getting into reading again after being like not reading for the past couple of years, and I still knew that it was bad. So we're gonna put that one in How Do I Erase My Memory, because I don't remember anything about it, so already my memory is kind of faded. But it was just bad. I didn't like it, and there are so many other male romances out there that are done way better. Next we have another one that is also controversial, and that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I didn't like this book. Like, I have severe anxiety just like the main character, and I still didn't like her. I didn't like the story. I didn't really get into the guy interest, the love interest, and I just wasn't into it. I wanted to like it, but I didn't. And so, you know what? We're just gonna put that in not a fan. Just not a fan. Not my favorite. I can understand why people do like it, but not for me. I read it. It also was way too long. Like, I think it was like almost 500 pages, and I was sick of it. So we're done with that one. Next we have another one of my favorites, and that is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. This book was so amazing. It kind of reminds me of Lord of the Flies. I know it's kind of marketed as that, but it's like a queer Lord of the Flies, and people really have polarizing opinions about this book. Some people love it, some people hate it. I absolutely adored it, and I just want to have Rory Power take all my money, because I loved her writing. Her characters were so dynamic, and the world was just insane, and I really felt like I was in the middle of that book, and it freaked me out. So that is going to take all my money, because Rory, what are you doing to me? I also need to read her newest book, which I've actually heard mixed opinions about as well. The next one is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book absolutely made me fall in love with historical fiction. I absolutely loved it. It was so immersive, and I remember how I felt reading this and how emotional I was. And the bond between the two sisters in this book was everything. I loved it, and it just, I don't know, I don't have a sister, so it was interesting to read about, but I love this book. It is one of my all-time favorites. I need to reread it. I want to wait till it's like a little bit closer to winter time to read it. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna put it and take all of my money, just because I've only ever read it once. I know I love it, but like, I don't know how much I love it, or if I would give Kristen Hanna all my money, because I'm running out of money, to be quite honest with you. But I'm gonna put it in quality content. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a wonderful book. I would recommend checking it out. They're making a new movie about it with Elle and Dakota Fanning, which I'm excited about. But anyways, quality content. Great historical fiction if you want to read about World War II. Next we have Daisy Jones and the Six. This is one that was really popular on BookTube for a while, and I did really enjoy this. The audiobook was really cool, and they're going to be making, I think, a TV series about it. I'm definitely intrigued to watch that when it comes out, and I really enjoyed this one. I would probably put this in quality content. I'd probably give it or take it. It's one of those that I did really enjoy my time reading it, but it isn't one that like lives in my head rent-free. It definitely is one that I have to remember that I read and be like, oh yeah, I kind of remember what that's about. But I did really enjoy it, and I could give it or I could take it. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I could give it or take it. My ranking systems are obviously not perfect or seamless or foolproof, but I'm just kind of going with my gut for these. The next one we have is Fruits Baskets by Natsuki Takaya. This is a This one's kind of difficult because I've heard that the anime is a lot better, so maybe I should watch the anime, but I just really wasn't a fan. I felt like the manga just wasn't for me. I feel like I need to pick up different mangas to really know what my style is and what kind of stories I would be into. But this one just didn't do it for me. Next we have The Diviners by Libba Bray. I really enjoyed this when I read it. I have the other books in the series but haven't gotten to them yet. But I just really love this story. I love stuff about the supernatural in the 1920s. I thought that that was such an interesting element, and I just really enjoyed the characters as well. So I would put this in quality content. I really enjoyed this. The audiobook is really good and very immersive, and yeah, quality content for me. Next is one that I literally wish I did not read. I Want to Erase My Memory. I did not like this book. I know people love this book, but I was just so not about it, and that is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This book was so bad to me. I did not like the characters. I hated them. I did not think it was immersive. I've never read The Night Circus, and it's always compared to that, so maybe I need to read that first to get it. But like, I really like the idea of like this carnival that comes and these people get like sucked into it and immersed. But it was just boring. It was not good, and I didn't like the writing. I didn't continue with the series, and I'm putting it in How Do I Erase My Memory because I don't want to remember that I read it, and I can't. I got rid of it as quick as I could because no, not for me. Okay, to cool off, we have a better one, which is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. It started out as like an online webcomic, and then it was turned into like a physical version of a comic, and it is so good. If you haven't read it yet, I don't know what you're doing because everyone on BookTube talks about it and loves it. It is just so fabulous. It's a male-male romance, and it is sweet and pure and just all of the great things. So this is going in, take all of my money. Alice Oseman can have my money. I still need to read Radio Silence. Everyone loves that one. I saw that Loveless recently came out, and I stan Alice Oseman. Take all of my money, please. Next we have one that I already mentioned earlier, and that is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I like this one, but it's not my favorite. Like, I really do enjoy it. It's just not one that I think about all of the time, and I'm not like I don't really like Peter Kavinsky very much. I don't know. I like Laura Jean, but like it was just like okay for me. So I'm gonna put that in. I could give or take it just because it didn't do all of the things that I wanted, but it was really sweet and a nice series to read, and I know it gives a lot of people like a lot of happiness, and I completely get that. So I'm gonna put it in I could give or take it because it's one of those that like isn't my favorite, but I'm not mad that I read it. Next we have a series that I don't know how I feel about. I like some of the books and I don't like some of the others, and that is the Shatter Me series by Tadamafi. I don't hate this series. I just think it's a bit childish and underdeveloped. Like, I feel like as the series went on, it got a little better, but not enough for me to be like, wow, she's really progressed as a writer. The story has progressed and evolved, and I'm just not the biggest fan. So I think I'm gonna put this in not a fan because I'm just not. Next we have The Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This is also a controversial one. I didn't like this very much. I was into it and I liked the idea of it, but I just wasn't that impressed. I need to read more by Victoria Schwab before I really know how I feel about her as an author. But this series was just, I'm gonna put it in not a fan. I really don't think it was anything special for me. Okay, sorry if the angle changed. I had to change my battery. The next one is my favorite series, I feel like, of all time. I love this duology so much. I said series, but duology. I would die for this series, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I take all of my money, like literally take all of my money. I am so excited for the show that is going to come out. I just love this world. I love the characters. I love the grittiness of it and how immersive the story is. And I just feel like I want to be a part of it, but also I would be the first one to die if I were involved. But yeah, Six of Crows, take all of my money. I love that book more than anything. Inej, girl, like, I can't. I love Six of Crows so much. No question, no contest. Six of Crows. We have one that was really disappointing for me, and that was an Enchantment of Ravens. I just wasn't a fan of this. It was too short for me to really get into. I wasn't a huge fan of the characters. I felt like it was kind of insta-lovey and there was not really enough development going on. And yeah, I'm just gonna say I wasn't a fan. Like, I liked it alright, but it wasn't anything special to me. I've completely forgotten the main premise of it, and I don't know. I hope Margaret Rogerson does something else that I enjoy and that I will hopefully like her as an author better than how I liked her writing in An Enchantment of Ravens. The last one is one, we're gonna end it with a bang, and that is one that I wish I did not read and that I could not remember reading. And that is One Day in December by Josie Silver. I hated this. I did not like it. I liked the concept of this, but I don't know if this is a spoiler alert. I'll put like a timestamp of when I'm done talking about this, but there's a cheating trope in this, and I really just don't like cheating tropes at all. Like, they're not for me, and this revolved all the way around a cheating trope, and especially a cheating trope involving like best friends and a best friend's boyfriend. Like, I'm not into that. So I just really didn't like this. I was not satisfied at all with how the story went, how it ended. It just didn't make sense. I liked the concept, but it wasn't executed, in my opinion, properly, and I just didn't like this. And I saw a lot of people loving this, like Reese Witherspoon, girl, no. But anyways, not about it, not a fan. It's going in. How do I erase my memory? So that is going to be it for my tier ranking video. Let me know if you agree with any of my opinions. If you disagree, we can comment about it and discuss it. Let's all be nice though, because everyone has the right to their own opinion about this stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This was so much fun. I have been wanting to do this for a while, and I'm glad I finally got around to doing it. But yeah, if you guys liked the video, definitely like it and subscribe for more. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Stay safe, and I love you. Bye!